Greetings and welcome to the Thirsty Mage, the podcast enjoying the smell of freshly cut grass while we wait for the beer cart to make its way to our fairway. Welcome to the podcast, I'm David Lloyd, and we're kicking off this spring with a discussion of one of the more popular golf games from our generation, Mario Golf Advanced Tour. With me this episode is someone that needs no convincing that Mario Golf is an RPG, it's Casey Gibson.
Yes. I mean, Tiger Woods PGA Tour, that's an RPG too. That golf is, I feel like it's like the most true and tried sports RPG game, you know?
Yeah. Was Tiger Woods the Wii golf game?
There might have been one on the Wii, but I mean, Tiger Woods PGA Tour was like it was sort of like Madden, you know what I mean? Like they would release sort of a yearly entry. And yeah, it was always like create your player, you know, like win tournaments, level up your character, increase your stats for your, you know, you perform better. Get new gear with your clubs and stuff, and the best is when it was like, oh, this shirt gives you a better spin, you know, like stupid stuff like that. But
it was the recurring game until an unfortunate incident, I'm sure.
yeah, you know what it was. Then I think it went to like Rory. I think they were trying to pass the buck to Rory McIlroy.
Oh yeah,
and I think there was a few like Rory McIlroy like tour games, and then I think it might just be like PGA Tour nowadays, PGA Championship 2025. But oh no, that's just the tournament that's going on right now.
I guess you run that risk when you're putting in someone's name on it that something that could tarnish the reputation may occur.
You know what it is? It's funny too. I mean, like I know obviously Tiger had his issues for a little bit there. I'm sure they could probably go back to it now if they wanted to, and no one would like think like bat an eye, you know. But
yeah. Do you are you a real life golfer yourself?
Yes and no. I played in I was on the high school team for a couple years. I played a little bit after high school, I guess, you know, here and there, and then I didn't play for like 10 years or more. And then I played a couple years ago, and now honestly at this point it's probably been like 3 years since I've played. So sporadically. I like it.
It's expensive though, man. Man.
Oh, that was part of it too. Cause it's like, yeah, you know, my dad and my mom, they live, like not on the golf course, but like in that a golf course community, you know what I mean? So they've got a nice little course. Like you can go play 9 holes for like $20 after, you know, but it's still $20 for 9 holes. And then, then all the equipment and the balls and, you know, and I feel like I was pretty good when I was playing consistently, but yeah, like if you want to play consistently, then all of a sudden you're spending that money. So, but the best was when I was, I guess I was 13. My local course in New York had like you could get like a juniors membership, or not like a juniors like club membership or something, and it was like pretty cheap. And then it would be like $6 to play 18 holes after 3:00.
Oh, yeah.
So we would just go at 3, and we'd be like finishing up the like 17th, 18th hole like in the pitch black just about. But for like $6, it was absurd. You know what I mean? Like an insane price.
Oh yeah, that's way like I actually live down the street from a golf course. Like I could walk to it if I really wanted to, but I haven't played. I think it was pre-pandemic was my last time playing, and the I would only play like once a year from about 2016 on, I think, and it was for like work things. And then the last time I golfed,
behavior.
Well, you say that, but the last time I played golf, it was a work tournament. So so there was like me and this other guy that I worked with, and then a buddy of his came along, and I think we had a fourth, but I can't remember or not. But I still remember we were on the 10th hole because it was like right after we had just eaten some lunch, and like we had a couple at this point, and there was this long hole, and there was like houses. This was in like in Ottawa, in like suburbia Ottawa, so there's like houses all along the fairway on the left, and there's like signs that specifically say there's signs specifically saying like, you know, don't be an idiot, just keep it to the right, don't hit anywhere near houses or whatever. And so we were, it was a work thing, so we didn't want to be jerks about it or nothing. So, we all teed off. Everything was great. The guy I work with, he hits it down and he gets it close to the green, and then I hit it and I get it down there, whatever. And then the third guy, he's getting ready. He's I think he's like hitting a 3-wood off of the fairway, and it's going towards the hole, and everything looks fine. And you had to actually be there to witness like this weird miracle of like how the ball is going straight, and then all of a sudden it's like the wind just blew it all, like it just takes a 90-degree turn left and just shatters this guy's sliding glass door.
Oh no.
It was just totaled. And luckily for us, somebody
And we
that
left
worked at the
real
golf.
quick.
Oh man, we were about to take off, but there's a golf an employee of the golf course that was actually watching the guy shoot. So he came over and he's like, "Don't worry, man. Like there's nothing you could do." And the owner comes running out, and we're like, "Oh crap!" And
Oh no.
the owner's freaking out because he thinks like we did it on purpose, because he goes, That's like the third time I've lost this door. This last time I put shatterproof glass on. How did There's only way you could break it is if you like aimed right for my door." And we're like, no, like it was an accident, man.
So you're giving us way too much credit,
Yeah, exactly. We're far too stupid to plan this. But luckily the guy there was like, no, it was an accident or whatever. And I think he was still supposed to be personally responsible, so I think he was supposed to pay for that guy's deductible for the insurance or whatever. But
we gave him a fake number.
yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure he was an insurance guy himself, the guy who shot the ball. So, but I don't think the owner ever called him up to get that deductible or whatever. But it was it was a pretty memorable last game of golf for me.
It traumatized you, huh?
Yeah, that's right. It's like I can't play this game. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, it's
Can't
like
be
my
getting into this
brother
trouble.
hits the ball a mile, but like sometimes it'll go a mile, but then also a mile to the left or right, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, there was a similar situation. It didn't break anything, I don't think, but it was just like, oh, it's going over towards those houses. Then all of a sudden it's like, boom, just completely like definitely hit like the siding of the house, you know. But
Yeah.
like, oh man, like that was a clean hit.
Oh man. But
But yeah, full
no
golf.
houses on the courses in Mario Golf Advanced Tour. So this was I never played this back in the day. This was a GBA game, and the Game Boy Advance. I completely skipped it when I was this was in the heyday of my PC days. So while folks were playing this game on GBA, I was enjoying some Command and Conquer and some Knights of the Old Republic. But
Not the worst alternatives.
no, I can't complain. But it's been fun going back to these GBA games. Casey, was this your first time playing with this one, or do you have a history with
No,
Mario Golf?
I played so I played all the Mario Golfs. I mean I played for on 64, like I like that one. Really loved Toadstool Tour for the GameCube. And I believe this one actually came out a little bit after that one. I'm pretty sure the timeline is that it's either I'm pretty sure it's like a year or so after. But yeah, so I was definitely playing this one. I was definitely
Yeah, 2003 was Toadstool Tour.
yeah. So this one's 2004.
Oh yeah, so a year before.
Yeah. So Advanced Tour came out a year after, and yeah, Toadstool Tour might be my favorite one. World Tour for the 3DS is really good too. But yeah, regardless, this one was really fun because yeah, it was like it had a story mode, and that was like, hey, we're playing an RPG. So I was really into this back in the day. And I guess I didn't play a whole ton. I put a couple hours in now, this more recently. But I guess over the years, I've probably sort of similar where I'd like dip my toes back in a little bit, but I haven't like done like a crazy deep dive probably since the original playthrough back in the day, which is just sort of boggles the brain. It's been 21 years just about since this one came out.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. This is my first Mario. No, I don't know if it's definitely not my first Mario Golf. Uh, I can't. I've dabbled in a few. I'm pretty sure I played Toadstool Tour at some point, and then but I play golf games a lot. Like even most recent would probably be Golf Story, that the indie game that
It's
came out.
inspired by this game. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, that's the funny thing is that it you get a bit of a feel to it. Like it certainly feels like it was inspired by Advanced Tour, because there's you could see a lot of the spirit in there. Again, like I feel like they take
Clever.
yeah, it takes, like, this story mode. It's a bit like there is a story, obviously, but unless I was missing like dialogue and stuff, there wasn't a whole lot of like cutscenes or dialogue or stuff like that. Like, there's definitely people, around the course or whatever. Like, so this one, Advanced Tour. So there's a bit of a setup to it where you arrive with, I guess there's like four of them. They're like trainees or whatever, golf buddies, and they're all showing up to train at this illustrious academy, I guess, or golf pro or whatever. And they get their own. It's kind of funny. It's like a high school setting almost.
Their
They
dorms.
they get their own dorm and stuff, and then you have a partner that you play doubles with, and it's so yeah. There's, you walk around. There's like the clubhouse where you could talk to people. You could talk to the champions of the tournaments that you'll end up playing against, and there's like training courses that you can go on, which are kind of neat, where you'll go on to like, the putting challenge or a driving challenge or closest to the pin challenge. So there's ways to, go around, and you'll build up your stats. It's pretty simple. Like, the RPG mechanics are pretty easy. Like, even if you're not a golf fan, or if you haven't played the game much, then it's pretty intuitive to figure out like which stats or you boost up and will make you better and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
um
yeah. They're not trying to like, oh, strength, and then you're trying to decipher
yeah,
exactly what. It's just like, yeah, like if you want to increase, the length of your shots, um, the control right would put less draw or fade on it. Like more straight trajectory, I guess, would be the easiest way for
yeah.
people who are not savvy to the golf terms. But yeah, it's nice because, and I feel like they're tangible, right? It's like they're tangible upgrades, like after you get that level, and it's like, oh, you can notice you're starting to hit it further, or that you've got a little bit more control, and those types of things, which I always appreciate, right? Because sometimes I feel like in RPGs, right, like, oh, the numbers go up, and like, okay, like I see visually that they're going up, but I don't actually like feel it as much, because maybe in other games, the enemies are getting sort of equally as strong, and you sort of level out the same. But on a golf course, right, like the course is the same, so like, yeah, now all of a sudden you can hit the ball further. You're getting to those par fives in two, or like real close in two, instead of like, oh, I've got to finish up like 100-yard shot, and maybe not necessarily getting it as close as you'd like. So I always like those games that like you really feel the upgrades as you get them.
Hmm. And we joked about the game being an RPG, and it's funny because the game is clearly made by Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if if
And
there's
you would know
anyone,
best after your Golden Sun recently.
I was just gonna say, like, we just recently played Golden Sun, and it's almost like they're just like, you know what, this we made this game engine, we need something else for it.
Mo
Let's
money.
just yeah, let's just reprogram a couple things, all of a sudden throw a golf course out there, and yeah, like, it's like it uses so much of the same mechanics, like the animation or the sprites, like, it all very much looks like it's at a Golden Sun.
And even
Like,
the
the
emotes, right? Like
yeah,
like if your character smiles, like they'll have that little like smiley chat bubble above their head and stuff.
yeah. And then there's like all the dialogue that looks exactly the same as the way the dialogue comes up in Golden Sun, even to the point where they'll like ask if you like, did you get all that? And you're like, yes, yes, I understood everything that was said.
Don't say
Thank
it
you.
again, please.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, are you sure you got all that? Yes, yes. I
but
did.
but I will say I do. You mentioned it a second ago about like not feeling like there was that much story. Um, and it's funny because yeah, like in my head, right? Like yeah, and I feel like probably most people who haven't played in a long time just like, oh yeah, the RPG like story mode kicked butt. Like it was so cool, you know. And it's great. Like I do enjoy like leveling up and boosting up the character and stuff. But yeah, I definitely felt like more like oh okay like yeah, I don't really need to talk to any of these people. I can just go to the starter's desk and do the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, and I think you might even be able to just like navigate through menus eventually, right? I think it's
Yeah, I
some.
was gonna say that's how. So the first time I did a tournament, I guess that'd be one of my critiques about the game was with all the hand holding, it didn't exactly hold your hand on like how to progress in the story. Like there was, I remember leaving the clubhouse, and then there was like this one kind of street almost where it was like, oh, if you want to practice, talk to this guy, but if you want to do the tournament, you talk to this person. And then the guy was like, do you want a singles or doubles? And then you're like, okay, go get in line now, and it would take you to the tournament. But um, I ended up, I think, I don't even know if it was by accident. I ended up in the menu, and I saw story mode, and then it was like you could just select tournament. I'm like, oh, there's the list of tournaments. I don't even need to go to that guy
I'm not going to
anymore. And
waste
then
my time.
yeah, so I just started doing that. I just like, just send me to the menu because I couldn't. Sometimes I would get lost in the world, and I'd just be like, oh, I can't remember how to go to which street takes me down to that guy, so I'll just hit the menu again.
Yeah, I'll
And
just make it easy.
yeah, yeah. So, um, but yeah, I guess it depends. Like, what you're if you're just going because at that point I was just like I just want to get a couple tournaments under my belt to boost up the stats or whatever, and then I'll so I think I ended up doing like 3 tournaments, like one after another, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'm getting going through them a little too fast because you could even see in the menu that there was like, oh, there's only 4 tournaments in the singles. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's only four. What I think there's four. Yeah, like tournament courses, and then I think is it four other ones
yeah, there's another 4 in
like
the
more
doubles, I
gimmicky.
think. Yeah, like so as you're playing through them, you also open up, yeah, like a gimmick. I think there's like a mushroom course, but you're like opening up holes as you went, so you got to like open up that course, but then you get other courses, and then I remember a lot of the times I would just kind of stumble into like things because one of the other RPG mechanics, I guess, was that you can upgrade your clubs. And it was funny because I showed up. It was like the forge almost, like you the way it was set up, where the guy was like, "Yeah, I can make you some clubs, but I need like a voucher or
Tickets,
something."
right? Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, how am I supposed to get these?" So I'm like, "I don't know." And then I saw like in that area there was like a closet. I'm like, I wonder if there's something in this, and there was a voucher in the closet, and I'm like, man, that was easy.
This one's on us.
Yeah. So the guy was like, "Yeah, what clubs do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. Give me the strong clubs."
Yeah, yeah. I want to hit the ball far, please.
Yeah. So the guy was like, "Oh, you want the long distance clubs? Okay." So then I thought there might be like some kind of cool down thing or something like where it's like, "Oh, go play a couple rounds and then we'll give you the clubs." And it was like, "No." He's like, "Here you go." Like I think I walked out, walked back in, and like, "Clubs are ready. Here you go." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." Um, I don't know if it was too noticeable on the actual like course, um, but I don't know. I didn't find can't remember if there was difficulty settings or not, but I didn't find the tournaments too like they weren't too hard to go. Like I think the worst thing is that I was playing with the ability to do save states. So
He
if I
was cheating. Yeah, no
yeah,
wonder that was easy.
I know it's pretty easy when you could just mulligan whenever you want, but um I didn't feel like I had to do too many, like especially on the early tournaments.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how the quote unquote rubber banding is for the tournament because I feel like in the beginning of the tournaments I played, it always seemed like someone was sort of out to like a like 3 or 4 shot lead ahead of me, and then like slowly but surely they would drop, and oh man, they were like 4 or 5 under at one point, and then they finish at like par or like one over, and it'd be like, oh, I just like I start far behind and then I slowly chip away, as I'm playing better and like getting some birdies here and there, they'll start falling back, and like then all of a sudden I'd overtake them. Um, the gameplay itself, like, so did you when you hit, did you do the manual or auto?
Uh, I, I guess it depended the situation because
Auto.
yeah, most of the time it was just auto, and that was funny because I don't remember them explaining. I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like you should have read the manual sort of things because initially I just kept hitting A, and then I was like, why is it always auto? And then I had to figure out it's like you press the A button to start, and then if you hit the A button at the power point, like where it's kind of that traditional golf where it's like
Yeah, it
the
goes left on
it goes
a
left and then
meter.
comes back right. So, the further left you go, the more powerful it is. So what you'd hit A when you wanted the power, and then it would come back and you would have to, hit the button when it's within the little thing to make sure it was straight or left or right or
Yeah,
whatever.
your accuracy essentially is the backstroke.
Yeah, so on the backstroke, I was just hitting A both times, and then it would just always go to auto. And then that's when I realized it's like, oh, you hit A to start the swing, but if you hit B to do the power, then you can hit B to do a manual, like whether you're doing a fade or a slice or whatever. So it was,
And you could
uh,
also add spin. I don't know if you know that.
yeah, like it depends on where you're. I guess you can move where you hit the ball. Like if you're hitting it off the top of the ball for the backspin or the bottom, or like
Well, that's
depend.
only part of it. You can also, so if you are doing manual, right? So you press A to start it, you hit B on your power, and then when you are lining it up for the accuracy, if you hit AA real quick, it would do top spin. And if
Oh,
you
okay.
do BB, it does backspin. And then if you do AB, it does super top spin. And if you do BA, it does super backspin.
See, this is why I don't. I'm not great at learning some of these stuff because I'm like, screw these menus. I don't need
Well,
to
like you
read.
said, now I don't know. Yeah, thinking like that might just be like it's a Mario Golf sort of staple, and it might be just in golf games in general. That's sort of like the rule of thumb. But I
Yeah.
know for Mario games generally, like that was it. So I don't know if they stated that in the dialogue somewhere, or if it was just like, oh, I knew that was how it worked. I wonder if maybe that's something like in the lessons and the side stuff, if maybe that's like where, like, oh, if you go to like some of the chipping mini games or something, maybe they sort of further expand upon some of the spin and stuff. But that definitely comes in handy. You know like, so if I was ever one of those ones where I was like, oh man, I need to use like this big giant club to get over to the green, I'm hitting a wood and it's going to be top spin like crazy. Try and put some backspin on it to sort of cancel out, it
Yeah.
rolling off the green, or especially when you're using like wedges, you can actually make the ball like spin backwards instead of just slowing it down. So yeah, definitely something that's helpful. That, yeah, I wonder. I mean,
That
clearly they didn't point it out well enough for you to see. So
no. Well, they. It's funny they say that because I did do the training courses and I remember seeing them like explain that, but I don't remember them saying how to like what button presses.
mm,
Like I remember them saying explaining because there was one competition where it's like, oh, okay, you're going to use a sandwich, and with the wedge you have to. They explained the top spin, like you need to hit it within like they put a little circle on the green, and it's like it has to be within this green, but you're gonna need to spin it to put spin on it to make sure it doesn't go like roll away or whatever. And but I don't remember them saying like you have to hit this button and then this button. I just remember them saying you have to do this, and then I think I just cheesed to win the thing anyway. I don't even think I'd use the spin.
they're like, good
um
luck, find it out.
yeah, I'll just abuse my save states here, buddy, and
Yeah,
I'll take
I
my
don't need you.
reward. And yeah, but I was happy to get like you get experience rewards for doing those though. Like it was like you had to hit like 7 out of 10, and then you would get a little XP bonus. And then yeah, so and then the XP bonus is just like you and your partner are on the screen, and then you decide like how many points to level up you or your partner, So you could like have.
And you say screw your partner, and you
Yeah,
take
I was
them
just gonna
away.
say. At some point, I was just like, forget it. I'm probably just gonna do the singles matches anyway. So I just like got
Doubles
at
is
like
for losers anyway.
6 to 7 levels up on mine, and just started to. There was the distance. I remember there was distance. There was control, spin. I think there was an accuracy one, but there was like 5 or 6 at most that you could choose from. So it was pretty manageable there. And like for golf, the way like the golf works and stuff, like it's pretty traditional that way. Like we said, with the left or right, power and
I think that
accuracy, and the courses itself, they were okay. Like I've played games with more variety. I think I think part of it is probably just like the limitations of like screen size and the system and stuff. Like it didn't get too crazy. Like the courses all seem pretty similar until you get to the late ones. I think in like the fourth tournament, they had like these fast fairways where it was like the ball had hit cement and it was just like
they
flying down
skip
the
right
fairway.
off. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like you hit the cart path.
yeah. Um, and I guess like that one had a lot more trees and stuff in it, I guess. But I didn't feel like there was like too many hazards that you had to really work around. It was more just when you're facing off as against some of the higher difficulty guys, like they seem to be able to hit the ball like 20-30 yards further, so you kind of had to work around like, okay, well, this guy's going to beat me on distance, but I have to be a little more strategic,
Smarter,
and
yeah.
yeah, like making sure I'm on the green, and maybe one less, or not taking those risks of like, oh, maybe I can get it over this water hazard or
Yeah.
something.
Well, and then right, I think the toughest thing for me, right, because like you said, it's sort of a standard fair golf game for the most part in terms of the gameplay, right? Like you're gonna hit in, you're gonna approach. I think the most difficult thing again, I think it probably, as you said, sort of goes to the fact of the limitations of the Game Boy Advance. Was putting. Because I feel like, right, like on the Toadstool Tour, we're playing on GameCube, you could do like a behind the back, and you could sort of like see look at like the ball level and sort of see where the spin is, or not the spin, where the break is, and
Yeah,
what side's sloping which way. And like they also have better tools, I think, with like the grid overlying, and like just doing a better job of, so like, oh, this is where the ball sort of slopes, or the green slopes to the right, and like they do, obviously they have like the arrows sort of showing you which way it's going, but I think it's just tougher to sort of decipher on the Game Boy Advance. um
yeah.
and there's nothing worse than when you have like a 2-foot putt,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, and like you got to hit A as quick as you can. And I was like, oh no, I hit 8 feet. Like, is it gonna blow over the hole? And then like I know you could like theoretically like press A, let it go all the way, and then like on the way back you could tap it. Oh, but
Oh,
yeah,
that
those
was
short
dangerous
putts
though.
always scared me, dude.
Well, and the other thing too was I felt like the game, it would be like, oh, it's a four. It would show you kind of where you would hit to put it in, but I always felt like for putting, it was like you almost had to hit it a little harder than you think you should, to because I kept coming up short when I first started playing. I'm like, okay, obviously it's like skewing to like put a little more
Sounds
power
like
into it.
a problem.
Yeah. And then one of the fun tricks I found is like I almost would rather be on the fringe so that
You could chip.
yes, because what I would do is I would just smoke it with the putter, and then it would just hit the pin and go in. So it was like,
Oh yeah, like, yeah, pin
yeah,
shot.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, this is a whole lot easier. I could just fire the ball, because then it wouldn't, like, the slopes didn't really affect it when you hit it hard enough. So it was like, oh, I just nail the pin and drop it. It
I'm gonna
seemed to
brute
do
force
that.
this bad boy.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not replacing this divot here either.
Yeah. Screw you guys.
Yeah. It's funny. One of the things I found funny about the game too is it's Mario Golf Advanced Tour, Mario Golf. The only Mario reference I saw, like, so I got to end credits through the singles tournaments, and the only thing was that they had talked about how Mario was the greatest golfer that ever lived, and there was a picture of him in the clubhouse. That was it. I didn't see anything. Like, I didn't see Mario. I didn't see Yoshi. I didn't see any Toads. Like, nothing. I thought it was kind of funny because I was like, man, this is like, it really felt like Golden Sun. You know, the Golden Sun characters were like, let's take a break from all this like medieval adventuring and magic stuff. We'll just go hit an 18 holes and
Yeah, we squeezed a quick round before
yeah,
night.
yeah. but there was like very little Mario references. I know that we were unlocking I think a specific Toadstool course, but um I've definitely played other Mario games that certainly leaned much more heavier on the Mario motif.
Yeah, but I guess it would make sense, right? Because this is Camelot, and they probably wanted to just put their own sort of stamp on it. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah,
Even with like you choose between what it's Neil and Ella, are
yeah.
the character names who are just two randomly
I
created
think you,
characters.
I think you can name your character though. I think because I'm pretty sure I named my guy.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I guess you could rename it, right?
Yeah.
But like I think it's either technically
But
boy or
yeah, it's
girl
pretty. They
essentially.
all have very like normal names for sure. Yeah,
But yeah, it's cool because I'm glad they did re-release it on the Switch NSO. I think last year at some point. I think right. Yeah.
well, the we both thought it was, but then didn't you go onto your Switch and find out
No.
it
Yeah.
wasn't?
Did I lie? Why did I
Yeah,
think that again?
because you
Hmm.
asked because for
Oh,
legal
you know what? It was
reasons.
the Wii U. Is that what I'm thinking of? Um.
I think it might have been on. Wasn't it? It was in the. I think it was in the Wii U, like in the Virtual Console.
Yeah. Yep. There it is. Yeah. 2014. The game was re-released on the Wii U Virtual Console, and then September for North. You know what it was? I think I probably looked at that before the show and saw 14 and thought 24. It was like, oh yeah, it was released last year on the NSO. Okay, yeah, Virtual Console, the Wii U, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Pretty close. but but yeah, it's I believe it had connectivity to Toadstool Tour as well. Um, where is it? Game Link. Do 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 do. I should have looked at that before I forget. But yeah, because I now
Yeah,
well
no, it
now I'm
does. It
curious.
says
Yeah.
advanced tour features 4 multiplayer modes. The in the without game link mode, 2 to 4 players take turns on one Game Boy Advance. So they basically like pass it along when it's not your turn or whatever. They can choose a player from the unlocked list of players, pick clubs, and then pick a gameplay mode. Then there's the with game link mode, where each player can select from their own list of characters and clubs, but courses must be mutually unlocked. Otherwise, it's the same. And then there's the wireless adapter mode. Only shows up when the wireless adapter is attached to the Game Boy Advance. Otherwise, this is it's the in-game. Like, man, like you have to be a rocket scientist to figure all
I
this
was
out.
gonna say you need a PhD to decipher how to play
Yeah.
multiplayer.
Yeah, and then there's the in the club exchange mode. 2 players can trade the clubs which they have earned throughout the game via a game link cable or wireless adapter.
That's sort of cool that you could trade the clubs. That's definitely Camelot RPG thinking. Like, yeah, we trade
Yeah.
weapons. It's interesting that like you could play, but if you both don't have like levels unlocked, it's like sorry, Pud, you can't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Sorry, your friends with Jimmy.
yeah,
He got,
your friend sucks.
yeah.
Don't put in some more hours.
Yeah. Blame that person specifically. Don't blame us. Uh
Well, Nintendo, good to know their convoluted multiplayer still, existed
yeah.
today as it did in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. There's it works for them. They're gonna stick with it. That's don't tell Nintendo when something doesn't work. They'll tell you when it doesn't work.
Yep.
Well, what else? Is there anything else that you think stands out about this particular game? It's funny that Camelot just keeps making these Mario Golf games. Like they've been given the torch and they refuse to give it back.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to think. Well, did they work on the Super? Were they on Super Rushed?
They were the Super Rush developer. Did you play that one?
Ugh, what a piece of garbage.
Oh yeah.
That game sucks, dude. A
Oh
million
yeah.
percent, yeah. Which is a shame because that was like the we're bringing back story mode, and it was like,
Oh yeah.
but if you ever can play World Tour for the 3DS, now that one is an absolutely wonderful game. And it's crazy to think, right? So, right, we had the very first, well, I guess, right, I guess technically some of these NES. Mario Golf for N64 came out in 99. Then there's one for Game Boy Color, but then it was Toadstool Tour in 2003, then Advanced Tour, and then it was a decade before World Tour, and then another 7 years before Super Rush. So it's interesting that they really don't release too many of these games, which
Well, and they Camelot like seems to just because that was their last game was that Super Rush in 2021, and then before that they were the developer for Mario Tennis Aces, which was 2018. Yeah,
that was a dud too. That one wasn't as bad. That one was just like bare bones content.
yeah,
Like the tennis was fun, you know what I mean? But like from what I remember, like they didn't have a lot of call them tracks, courts and stuff, and it was just like it didn't have a lot of game modes.
yeah. It's just golf and tennis because yeah. So Super Rush was the last one. Aces before that. Then there was Superstars before that, which was on the 3DS. And then
I forget how. I think I played that one. I can't remember. Yeah, I remember Ultra Smash Tennis sucked too.
yeah, that
Um,
was 2015, and then right before that was World Tour
yeah,
for
World
3DS.
Tour is amazing. Really
Yeah,
good game.
then Tennis Open, which was also on the 3DS.
I don't remember if I played that one. I feel like I probably should have. I usually try and play the tennis and golf games. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, and then Golden Sun Dark Dawn.
Dark Dawn. The third, I didn't even realize they had a third entry for that one.
Yep, yeah. I don't think I ever played this one.
Oh, I
But
stopped
yeah.
playing Golden Sun after. I was so mad when the first Golden Sun ended mid story.
Well,
I'm like,
yeah.
I
They really
invested all
should.
this time, and this friggin' story doesn't even end. Like, oh, I was so mad.
I feel like we make fun of like a lot of companies for like really bad naming, but like yeah, Golden Sun 1 and 2. It should have been like Golden Sun and then Golden Sun like a subtitle or like to yeah, it's just a continuation, you know what I mean? Not like a true sequel.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's one of those things too. Like I can remember playing Golden Sun. I must have been so what Golden Sun came out in 2001. I was like 12, I guess. 12, 13 around probably when I was playing. And I can remember it being dead summer, hot as heck out. And like we didn't have central air, but like we had one AC in my parents' room. So like I remember I'd go there in the middle of the day and just jack that AC like 60 degrees. And I would just play Golden Sun in their room for like hours on end. But I feel like it's one of those games that, it's a little tough to go back to.
yeah,
But as far as Advanced Tour here, I mean, I do really love. I mean, the visuals. I really love Camelot like pixel art. I think looks like the presentation looks really great. The music, like I said, it is a fun game. To a good pick up and play. But yeah, I guess my biggest like ringing thought would be like, yeah, like the story mode. I feel like has been built up in golf and Mario Golf fans' heads, or at least in my head. Like, oh yeah, like it has
yeah,
never been done better than an Advanced Tour, where like in hindsight, it's really like it's fun, but yeah,
yeah. Like I would say the strongest part of the game is probably just the ability to kind of walk around and talk to people
explore.
and explore and do some of the challenges and there's some neat dialogue and stuff where after you beat it's funny to talk to the champions after you beat them in a tournament and kind of see the reactions there and yeah, I know there's some backstory. I think like there's something about the main character is like injured, gets injured and is like starting fresh or something, or the trainer, the coach or something gets injured and then he gets back into it. It wasn't. I guess that might be kind of a not exactly an endorsement of the story mode where I'm like vaguely remembering some of the details.
trying to rack your brain.
Yeah, so I mean it's there, but it's like yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's like you said, like when I think maybe something like RPG or Golf Story, I think kind of maybe changes your memories of things because like the
That
last
one's
golf game
definitely got
I
a
played,
story.
yeah, where like that is like more story based than anything. The golf is almost like secondary to a certain extent, where it's like there's all this the story happening, and then it's like oh, and then you have to play a game of golf. Whereas this is more like the golf is
The
what's
main
the
story, yeah.
main yeah the main part of the game, and then but you can like between golf games kind of walk around and see what's going on and talk to people. Yeah, so yeah, a little bit different there. And then I did you ever play the Sports Story? I think it was Sports Story
That's
was
like
the
the follow
sequel.
up, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did, or if I did, a very small amount, but I don't think
Yeah.
I did.
Well, I know a lot of bad reviews came out for it, so I'm like, forget it
That's probably
then.
why I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like Golf Story.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
did
pretty
too.
sure in that game you could just like literally hit the golf ball anywhere. Like even when you're in like the weird little like exploration parts, you can still whack the ball around.
Yeah. I remember
But
like
yeah.
shooting the ball at like you could just fire the ball at someone just standing there, just like just
Ow!
for fun. Yeah. So well, for you're a Mario Golf expert. I know World Tour is probably your favorite. It I don't know what Camelot's working on. Maybe they're working. They seem to only do Mario
Yeah,
sports games at
all
this
for
point.
tennis.
Yeah.
Unless we're getting a Golden Sun revival.
Yeah, if they've got the keys to the Mario Golf for Switch 2, what would your recommendation to Camelot be to make this a not a stinker like Super Rush?
Honestly, give it like not literally, but like remaster World Tour. Like literally, like just give us that with new courses and stuff. Because like they had like ring shots and different little like trick and trial shots to do. They had lots of courses. It looked really nice, right? Like it was I mean the 3D was cool, but like it to me like Toadstool Tour really hit the nail on the head. I'd say it's those two are my favorite, and essentially, right, like um, World Tour just feels like essentially like a continuation of what Advanced Tour or Toadstool Tour was. Like, just give us in that line. You know what I mean? Let's pretend these other games didn't happen and like make a third one of those. Because it's like I don't know, like they in Super Rush they were bringing it like, oh, look for this cool mode where you hit the ball and then you got to run to the where your ball is, and then like in the story mode there was this one. It's oh my god, it was so stupid, dude. Like I get the idea. It was sort of like, oh, there's like a couple holes here and like you could sort of tackle them in any order, but you want to do it fast. But then it was like 3 layers, and it's like, oh, you got to hit your ball into this tornado so it launches up the cliff, which is fine. Like, okay, that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And like say, but now I need to run into this freaking tornado and launch myself up the cliff. But then it's like, oh nope, it launched me off to the side, and I didn't get all the way up. So now I got to run back around and reposition myself to try and get along it. And you're being timed because you're trying to do this quick. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember I was like, what the hell am I playing, dude? Like, this is so stupid. Like, just give us golf. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah.
Yes.
Like that was one of those games I was really looking forward to, and like literally was like, I got like a poop sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, oh god.
It's funny because you think like that was the first Mario Golf for Switch, so you think they would have went for the more because just like with Nintendo, you would assume they would go with the traditional one first at least, and then maybe have like a second game later in the because 2021 was about halfway into the life cycle, I guess. Because
well, it's funny. 2021, we're probably thinking like, well, this is probably pretty close to the end of the life cycle. They're just
yeah, yeah. Nintendo's pooping out some of these games
yeah,
at
they're
the
already
end.
into crap territory. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Kirby game. It must be done. It must be it. Um, Yeah, I would assume they would have went with something more traditional first, and then had something like Super Smash like later on, maybe a couple years down the road as a follow up entry. Just because with all the new, because that's the thing with the Switch is there are so many people coming back to the Nintendo platform that kind of like fell
Yeah,
off
lapsed.
when Wii U and 3DS were out. Now all of a sudden they're going from like 10, 20 million players to 100 million pretty quick, and yeah, you'd think you'd give them something a bit more traditional, but and I would say like short of, I guess there's probably a PGA golf on there on Switch somewhere, but it's probably like because I don't recall like any Switch games. Like Golf Story was kind of like the one game that everyone was either goes to as the golf game for Switch, or was, and even Golf Story I think left some people, like it got mixed reviews, I'm pretty sure when it came out.
Yeah, I think it was more positive, and then then it was a little more mixed. I feel like as it
Yeah,
was out,
I
um,
think the mechanics were just there's a few things off about some of the mechanics, were it more of like tweaks as the anything like too bad, I guess. But yeah, I can't think of any like golf game that's like oh, you like golf, this is the game you need to have, sort of thing. Like the Switch, like for sports games in general, the Switch kind of
yeah,
uh,
I
you
think
know
it didn't have the parity with the other systems. So I feel like I know remember FIFA for a while they like gave like literally like a crap down like just terrible version. Um, so I'm actually excited to see with Switch 2 if like now we're gonna start seeing like Madden and like all these other games that are coming out that people play a lot. Like
like the full
it should
versions
be
of them too, like not 5 years
yeah.
ago's version that's been tweaked to fit, or
Exactly. Yeah. So I
yeah,
am excited now that like we're Nintendo's obviously not on the same level power wise as a PS5 or anything, but like in the ballpark where these devs are going to be able to put you know these games out probably day and date. You know what I mean? Right when it comes out,
yeah.
even if it's a slightly lesser version. But and yeah, that's why I mean honestly, even seeing all this cyberpunk videos for Switch 2, I'm like, man, this thing looks really nice.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's got me tempted to pick it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be interesting. Like, yeah, Cyberpunk. It was. I remember playing it when it first came out. There was obviously a lot of issues then. I remember I had my PS5, so it wasn't too bad. Other than I didn't have fiber internet at the time, so I had to wait three
Oh,
days for the update to download
oh,
because it
that's
was
so
like a
sad.
100 gigabyte update or something ridiculous. Oh, you know what it was because it was at the time when the PS5 had just come out, so they were like, "Oh," and I think I had bought the PS4 version, like the disc or something,
Mm,
but they had like
the upgrade fee or whatever.
yeah, there was something. I don't think I paid anything, but I just remember it's like, oh well, if you put, or maybe it came with both versions, or I can't remember how it worked, but I just remember there was like, oh, you put the disc in, and the PS5 version will download or something, and I was like, oh, that's great, and except for the fact that like I'm downloading at like eight megabytes per second here, so yeah, it took like 3 days to get that game, but it ran fine for me. I was able to. Oh, I guess I didn't finish the game because there was a there was a cutscene that my PS5 couldn't get past, and then ended up reading um, that if you got caught in this one cutscene, like that was it. Your save was uh,
Deuces.
it was toast. It's like you can't use your save anymore. Like you're toast. You'll never get past this cutscene now. And then that
Uh,
was when I was like, okay, that's I'm never playing
yeah.
this again.
Adios. Yep. Yeah.
It's
No,
like
that's
30 hours
definitely.
down the toilet. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's
Um,
frustrating.
yeah, so maybe I'll go back. If you end up going back, maybe I'll go back too and see. I know there was a lot of patches and
Yeah.
changes since then, so
I
I'm
hear the
sure the
DLC
PS5
is
version.
really good. People say the DLC is
Yeah,
super good. Um,
yeah, I heard that too. So
yeah, that my thought
yeah.
is right. If I have a brand new shiny console that I'm going to want to play, I'm probably going to want a juicy game to go along with it. Not to say Mario Kart isn't going to be played a whole ton, but yeah, it feels like those two could be good complements.
Something to push the boundaries. So
Definitely. Yep.
yep. Well, that'll probably do it for this chat about World Tour. Just a reminder to everyone that the Thirsty Mage is
Advanced tour.
still Yeah. Oh, sorry, advanced tour. They're the Thirsty Mage is bi-weekly now for the public feed. So if you're listening to this on the public feed, but you still want more episodes, then you can go to our Patreon page at. You could either go to thethirstymage.com and the Patreon links there, or you can go directly from patreon.com/thethirstymage. And currently, if you're listening to this, there's probably 19 exclusive episodes to patrons right there so far in our Patreon only podcast, the Abend Time. So that'll be how we're moving forward now. Is there'll be bi-weekly Thirsty Mage episodes and then bi-weekly Patreon episodes. So you have to be in the Patreon if you want weekly content. So that and it's only like $1 a month at this, so that'll help pay for the expenses to keep the lights on around here, and yeah, get you some neat get your episodes early and that sort of thing too. So yeah, if you want to help us out, you can head over to thethirstymage.com. But otherwise, we want to thank everyone for listening to this springtime episode of the Thirsty Mage, and yeah, you can look forward to some upcoming episodes. I don't even know. I know we probably got some Fire Emblem episodes coming because I've been playing a lot of those.
Switch 2 episodes are on the way. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, we're only 2 weeks away as of this recording, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'll be picking it up. Paige, I forget. Paige,
no, Paige didn't. It'd be just you and Jordan, I think.
Me and Jordan.
At launch anyway. So.
Yep. So we'll definitely. I guess with recording, right? Like. We're recording here. I guess we'll record the week after it comes out, so that'll actually be good. Like, I can have a good amount of time. But if we want to do one earlier, we could also figure it out. If you want to get a Switch 2 episode, closer to launch, we can figure it out, and maybe Jordan will jump on.
Sounds good.
And then we'll do our best to talk you into picking one up.
Yeah.
Getting a second mortgage on your house.
Yeah, I might need it with the Canadian prices. Cool. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. We'll see everyone out at the next Thirsty Mage. Bye for now.
Adios.